Hi, I'm Randy Altman, postPerspective. We're here live at NAB 2015, and my guest at the moment is Dane Pearson from Cinedeck. Before the show began, you guys announced some pretty cool stuff.
Not pretty cool, very cool.
Okay, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. File-based insert editing. So, can you explain what it is and explain why it's so important and helpful?
Well, in the production world, you've got people who are very much used to working on tape. And one of the advantages of working on tape, particularly coming out of a nonlinear edit system, is 10 minutes before air, when the producer comes down and says, oh, wait a minute, that shot's embargoed, we gotta change it. You can't do that. So you've rented out, a 30-minute show.
Right.
And if you want to get it on the air, you can't change that shot, or it's not. One of two things is not going to happen. It's either not going on the air, or you're not changing the shot. So insert editing allows you to go into a closed file and replace video, audio, or both, just like you were working on tape. So you've got that 30-minute show or a 90-minute show, whatever it is, and you've got a shot that needs to be changed. You've got a Coke can that needs to be a generic can because you don't want to be promoting Coke or whatever the heck it is. And you can just go in and say, okay, plug it in there. The way we're showing it right now on the show floor is from the Avid. So you can do a digital cut from the Avid of your whole show, and then you can go back in and do an insert edit using the digital cut tool, just like you would on tape. And you turn off the entire sequence button, do your insert edit, and it's in there.
But it's not just Media Composer.
The insert edit it can work on ProRes files, it can work on DNX files, it can work on AVC intro files. We'll be adding other codec and wrappers into that capability as we go forward. It technically hasn't even been released yet, but we've got a couple of folks who are using it.
Right.
But it's a really cool feature. It really allows people to fix things that were never able to be fixed before. And then on top of that, we're going to be adding another 16 tracks of audio into the file capability. So you'll be able to go back and insert in an additional 16 tracks. So you can do the traditional 16 tracks that SDI will carry. But if you need to have more channels, so you've got various languages, plus your 5.1, plus your stereo mix and all that other stuff, you can lay in another 12 tracks or whatever it is you need. And you've got a file that's completely together.
So is anyone else doing this? And how did you guys sort of crack it?
The how you cracked it part, I can't really go into that for multiple reasons, not the least of which I don't really understand it that well.
Okay.
I'm the sales engineer, but the sort of emphasis on the sales training and demo kind of stuff, I didn't design it. I've heard the story that there's another company that is able to do it. I don't actually even know who they are.
Okay.
But whether they actually can or not, I don't actually know. But I've just somebody has said to me oh yeah, I heard about somebody else who can do that. I was like, okay, good. But it's a pretty exciting feature.
There was so for the editors, if they look at the Cinedeck box, it sort of operates like a Sony deck in a sense.
And well, in terms of driving it over RS-422, it's identical. It basically emulates a 5500 from Sony. So it's basically, it acts like that. And in fact, if you look at the interface on the Cinedeck itself, you get all the little lights, for the servo and pre-roll and all that kind of stuff that you normally get on a really nice tape deck. It's still different, but it can really totally emulate the tape deck in an environment where you would have been using a tape deck, but it's no longer happen.
Okay. So what else is new? There is some sort of co-development with Axel Video. Can you talk about that for a little?
Yeah, we got a couple things going on. The Set Me Up .tv is what you're talking about with Axel, and basically the concept there is, metadata is that sort of keyword that's been floating around since 2006 is kind of when it's sort of really growing.
Yeah.
But still today, getting metadata into your production usually happens further down the line. Really it should be happening, at the moment of acquisition. That's really when it should be happening because that's where all the information is available. A day later or an hour later or a week later when you're sort of reviewing stuff, you don't have all the information anymore. It'd be nice if you did, but you don't. So the whole idea of the Set Me Up card is you've got the Cinedeck, so you can do multi-channel records, so you're doing 4-camera drama or whatever it is. And built into that card, you've got the Cinedeck, you've got the Axel system, which is a really easy to use asset management system. They can utilize our proxies, so basically we write the proxies onto a drive that they're looking at, and you've got a full asset management system right there on set. You can address it from an iPad or from an iPhone or from an Android phone or obviously a laptop or a desktop, and deal with your media and be typing in stuff and go to town. Having said all that, all this metadata, in my view, really starts with the file name. If you've got a file name, now we all know about the Avid files. Like when you digitize something, it's like R2, MX4, 96662, whatever sort of gibberish. When you create a file with Cinedeck, you can name it whatever you want. So when you create a file, the creators, the shows, the files that we're creating here on the show floor are like, NAB underscore, input one or VT1 or whatever it is, underscore master underscore interview. And when you name your files like that, a year from now, you know exactly what it is.
Right.
So that's really where the metadata starts, from where we're working. And so yeah, the Set Me Up TV, setmeup.tv. It's a website that only talks about that product, and it's that combination of things. There's also onboard storage, and it comes with either you can get it with either QNAP storage, or you can use the Avid ISIS or DPP, and basically the Cinedeck will talk just about anything. So
right, yeah.
the 8-channel record.
Say again.
8-channel record is probably the other big thing that we're talking about.
And that's new for the show. Yeah,
it's new for the show. It's actually in use. I don't know if I can mention the customer who's using it, but we do have a major customer in California who's been using it for the last couple of months.
Okay.
So basically the ZX, which is a 4-channel machine normally, the hardware in there is addressable in terms of you can change what it's physically doing. So you can change, in this case, you're changing outputs into inputs. So it's normally a 4-channel box. You change the firmware, change the operation mode of the software, it becomes an 8-channel in, 0-channel out. So if you pay whatever, let's say you've spent $30,000 on the ZX box, you add a couple $1,000, instead of being a 4-channel box, it's suddenly an 8-channel box.
Nice.
No playback when it's an 8-channel mode, but if you need to record 8 channels, it's an amazing price performance sort of feature.
It's fantastic. So you guys have a lot going on. I encourage people to check out your website for more information. And Dean, thank you so much for taking time. I know it's a crazy show, so I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I'm Randy Altman, PostPerspective, live from NAB 2015. Take care.